back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Peyton and I am a fashion and beauty blogger. I am so excited to be filming this video today. I know I say this in every single video I post, but I'm actually so excited to film this. This has been on my list to film for months now. This is the start of my micro-influencing series that I'm going to be doing on my channel. I get so many questions on my TikTok on my PR unboxings of people that are asking how I'm able to work with brands and get PR packages with such a small following. So I really wanted to create this series as kind of like a step-by-step guide on how you can start working with brands and all of that. So just a little bit about me. Like I said, my name is Peyton. I'm a fashion and beauty blogger based out of Southern California. I started a blog all the way back in 2019 when I first moved to LA as just kind of a creative outlet. So I've always loved makeup and fashion, but I just did not know what direction to go with it. I didn't know how to make a career out of it. So that's why I started this as a creative outlet. It was a way to talk about my passion for beauty and fashion. So in the beginning, I first started my blog. That was the very first thing I started. And then I created an Instagram account to go along with the blog. And then it slowly turned into TikTok, YouTube channel, Pinterest, all of those different platforms. So I'm making this video to help anyone learn that they can work with brands and make money even with a small following. So as of right now, I am just under 2K on my TikTok and my Instagram. And I have had over 100 brand deals at this point. I've worked with brands like Bolly Body, Supergoop, Dry Bar, Third Love, Merit Beauty, Glamnetic, Charlotte Tilbury, and Dr. Dennis Gross, just to name a few. I actually got my first brand deal with Bolly Body when I was at 500 followers on my Instagram. So if I can do this, you can too. If you want to see how I've been able to work with these brands with such a small following, just keep on watching. So I'm going to be covering all of the basics on how to start your influencing journey in this video. But I'm planning on making this a series, so if you have any questions or any specific thing you want me to go more in depth about, please let me know in the comments or feel free to DM me over on Instagram and I'd be more than happy to help you. Okay, since we have a lot to cover, I'm just gonna jump right into the video. So I am going to start with how to start. And this just seems pretty simple, but before I get into all of my tips, I really want to emphasize that you cannot go into this because you want free stuff or just to make money. You genuinely have to have a passion for what you are creating or you're just not going to be able to keep it up. It's really easy to look at it from the outside and just think it's so easy. There's so much time and effort that goes into creating content that you do not see on the outside, and it definitely does not happen overnight. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2019 and I'm just getting to the point where I'm starting to get paid for my time. So I'm going to bring it up a few times in the video, but it really is so important to have your why to why you are creating content, because in the end, it really should be a fun creative outlet first and making money should be second. I think that's why I've been able to be so successful with such a small following, is because I genuinely do this for fun and I honestly enjoy this so much. So since I have fun doing it, it's just a bonus that I am able to get free stuff and get paid. So my first tip on starting your influencer journey is to have a niche or a passion. Niche is a word that is kind of thrown around the influencer community a lot. I know we are all so sick of hearing of it. Basically, if you're not familiar with what it is, a niche basically just means what category you post in, like beauty, fashion, health and fitness, those kind of categories. For me, I've always loved beauty and fashion, so it was kind of just a given of what I would be posting about. So for this, you can be as broad or as specific as you want to be in the beginning. As you start creating, you will start to find your little corner of your niche of what works for you. But in the beginning, I think it's good to have kind of a broad idea. You definitely want to have a subject of beauty, fashion. You can kind of mix beauty and fashion together, but you want to have your core subject of what you mostly post about. One of the main things I see people commenting on my TikToks is people saying they have so many more followers than me, but they never get PR packages, they never get brand deals. And usually I'll go look at their pages, and their pages are just a random personal account that they've somehow gotten lots of followers on. They'll have birthday posts, random family posts, which all of that stuff, of course, you should post it on social media. But if you are really trying to grow this as a business, you have to keep it business. And that's the great thing about TikTok and stories and stuff like that, is you really can post more of the personal stuff. But if you are wanting to take this seriously on your feed, I would strictly stick to your niche. I know it can seem very overwhelming to feel like you have to have everything figured out and every little specific thing in your niche figured out. I promise you, you do not. I've changed the style I post in, the way I shoot, how I edit so many times over the past few years, but it's all stuck under the same umbrella of beauty and fashion. So do not get hung up on the little details and just figure out what you like talking about and start posting that. One of my biggest tips I can give is starting a brand new account. I know this can seem very frustrating because you feel like, oh, you already have this many followers on this account, but I promise you, in the long run, you are going to be so much more successful if you start a brand new page that is niche specific. I think this is a tip that is not talked about enough, but it is so beneficial. The reason you want to start a new account on Instagram or TikTok is so that you can build an engaged community that is actually care about what you have to say or care about the products that you post about. For example, it's going to be really hard to get people to buy from your makeup links if most of your followers are guys that you went to school with. In the end, brands care more about how engaged your community is compared to how many followers you have. And the great thing about starting a new account is it really gives you the freedom to figure out your posting style and your aesthetic before you really build up an audience. It gives you just that creative freedom to kind of figure out what you want to do without really any repercussion. Okay, so now that you have the topic you want to post about, you've started your new account, you have your username, all of that, you have the account name. Next is honestly just to start posting. I would just start taking photos, start taking videos, and just post them. I would recommend posting on your Instagram feed at least 3 times a week, always have a story up, and try to post as many TikToks as you can. I know it can seem a little difficult when you see all of these influencers that have so much new stuff, but I promise you, you do not have to have a new wardrobe, a new makeup collection to start. If you truly are passionate about something, you can start with what you have. Just start posting the outfits you genuinely wear every single day. Start tagging the brands that you wear on a daily basis, the brands that you shop from, or start posting your makeup that you do every day. Maybe try a new technique using products you have. And do not be afraid to post the same thing more than once. The more you post about a product, the more that it is going to be associated with your brand and your business. So people are going to feel like they can relate to you more or trust you more the more you talk about a product. So do not be afraid to outfit repeat, to talk about the same product more than once. You really want to try to be as relatable as possible on your page, because in reality, everybody rewears the same outfits, they use the same makeup every day, so it's just not relatable to have a new outfit every single day that never gets reworn. So it's refreshing for people to see that everybody's just a normal person. We all rewear outfits, we all use the same makeup. So don't worry about posting the same pieces on your page more than once. Honestly, the hardest part is just starting, but once you start posting, it becomes so much fun and it genuinely becomes so much easier the more and more you post. Another thing I hear a lot is that people say they are scared of what other people are going to say, they're scared of getting judged. But if this is something that genuinely brings you joy and makes you happy, you cannot worry about what people think of you. There is no point of letting other people control your life. You are in charge of your happiness. So if your friend thinks what you're posting is weird or cringy or whatever, that's not your problem. That is their problem. What people say about you is none of your business. It is one of the most freeing things that you can do for yourself, just to not care what people have to say about you. I was always so scared to start a new account and start posting about makeup and fashion just because I felt like everyone was so much better than me. I didn't have any real talent. But once I started posting, it's amazing how many people actually support you. I truly have never had anybody say something to my face. I'm sure people talk about me behind my back, but I've never had anybody say anything to my face. You would be shocked with the people that actually support you. So if that is something you are really struggling with right now, I would highly recommend reading this book. I'm almost finished reading it. I've seen a lot of people post about this book and I don't know, the title's kind of cheesy. I was just like, okay, whatever. But this book actually helps so much and it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to actually apply it into your life. That's a little side note that really doesn't have anything to do with this. This book really does help you deal with criticism and people judging you, and it just helps you start living the life you've always wanted to live. So little side note, I'll leave a link to this in the description if you want to check this book out. And in reality, people are so obsessed with their own lives that they're really not paying as much attention to you as you think they are. And if they are, it's just more engagement, it's more views, it's only good things. So you can't stress about it too much. You just have to do what makes you happy. And if people do care or have something to say, honestly, there's a block button for a reason. And in the end, they are probably just jealous that they don't have the courage to start posting and actually do things that make them happy, because they are probably scared of being judged by others. And the more you post, the more you slowly stop caring what anybody has to say. That is a big tip. Just do it. I promise you, it'll be one of the most freeing things you'll ever do if you are scared of people judging you. Okay, so once you have your new accounts going, you've started posting, you've started to develop a style that you're posting in, you're gonna wanna start growing your community and working on your engagement. A great way to do this is to find other influencers that inspire you or that are in the same niche as you, whether it's affordable fashion, clean beauty, and it might sound a little creepy, but you wanna see who follows them, see who engages with their content, and just start following who inspires you. you, and commenting and liking posts that are in your niche. The most important part here is to be genuine. Do not leave fake spammy comments. You just make it a challenge to go compliment people, give them unique compliments that are different in the comments, and I promise you it'll help grow your community and your engagement. One of the best things you can do is just give people genuine compliments, and I promise they usually return the favor. Okay, to get back on track, I want to go over engagement. A little bit about it in case you're not familiar with engagement rates. Basically, when you start working with brands, they're going to want to know your engagement rate. Your engagement rate is basically a combination of your likes, comments, all of that with the amount of followers you have, and it puts it into a percentage of how engaged your following is. And the higher your engagement rate, the better. So it is something that you are always going to want to be working on. I personally use a website called fohr.co. It's fohr.co. I use that to find my engagement rate, and they also have a great PDF that you can download that shows all of your Instagram stats. It's the perfect thing to send around to brands, so it's a really useful resource to have when you're first starting out. I would highly recommend signing up for their website. And one thing I do want to quickly cover is do not buy followers, do not buy likes, do not buy anything like that, because brands know when you buy likes or buy followers. It's pretty easy to figure out the people that have bought followers and the ones that haven't. So please, 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 whatever you do not buy followers. Everything with social media, just try to do everything as genuinely as you can, and I promise it'll help you so much in the end. So those are kind of the basics to set yourself up for success on your content creation journey. So I want to get into brand deals and PR. So I had gotten a few brand deals here and there. I didn't really start reaching out to brands until I had hit about 1,000 followers on my Instagram account. There's a few different ways you can get brand deals. You can reach out to them directly. The brands will reach out to you. There are different apps and websites that will connect you with the brands or the brands with you. Make sure you have your email in your bio so brands know how to reach you. One of my secret weapons for getting brand deals with such a small following is having a blog. This is a tip that I hardly ever hear people talk about, but it has been so beneficial for me in getting brand deals and getting paid and working with huge brands that I normally would not have been able to work with. Not a lot of people take the time to really build a blog or have a website, so brands don't see it as much when people are pitching to them. In the beginning, when I had a lot smaller of a following, I would always pitch to the brands that I was willing to write a blog post in exchange for products, and most of the time I ended up getting a response and getting sent a lot more products than I would have if I just pitched them a Instagram post or a TikTok video. Brands love blog posts because it's a more permanent form of advertising for them. Usually when you search a product on Google, the brand's website or whoever carries the product will show up first, and then after that it's websites that have talked about the products. Any blog post reviews on the product show up next. So I've actually had a few blog posts hit the #1 page on Google into Google's search engine, and it helps just bring more eyes to your content. I was able to work with Body when I had 500 followers because of my blog, and having a blog is another stream of income you can add in by getting paid to write blog post reviews for brands. And along with that, you can also run ads on your page that you get paid for. If you are really wanting to take this seriously, I would highly recommend taking the time to set up a blog. With a blog, there is an upfront cost and a yearly cost with having it. I pay about $150 a year to keep my blog running. I personally use and would recommend WordPress to set up your blog. I love that it gives me the freedom to customize anything. I know a lot of people use Squarespace. I have used that in the past. I didn't love it as much. I started with WordPress, switched to Squarespace, and switched back to WordPress. That's just my personal recommendation, but whatever is easier for you, that's what you should go with. So now let's get into reaching out to brands. Reaching out to brands is honestly a lot more simple than you think. It's really not rocket science. Brands will usually have a PR or a collab email somewhere on their website. If you can't seem to find it, you can try Googling it. I found a lot of emails that way. And if you can't find an email for a certain brand, a great way to get it is just by sending them a DM on Instagram. They will usually direct you to the person to contact, or they might even set up the brand collab with you through Instagram DM, because usually it's the same people that manage the Instagram that manage the collab emails. I've had quite a few brand deals just happen through Instagram DM, so that is a great way to reach out as well. It doesn't always have to be some big email. It's really not as complicated as you think. I wanted to go over a real life example of how I DM brands on Instagram. With DMs, you really want to keep it short and sweet, so this is what I say usually when I am reaching out to a brand. For this message, I had reached out to a nail company, so you always want to start with hi brand name team. I say, hi, my name is Peyton. Well, I say hi brand name team. My name is Peyton. I'm a beauty and fashion blogger. I've seen so many amazing things about your nails. And as a nail technician myself, I love posting and sharing all things nails. Do you have an email I could reach out to regarding a collaboration? Thank you so much. And then they responded almost immediately and said, hi, please email us at blank for partnership inquiries. And then I just said, thank you so much. Then I would go send my actual pitch in an email. I want to see if I can find one that happened over DM. So here's one that just happened over DM. I sent them this basically the same message. This was to a makeup company. And they responded and said, hi Peyton, my name is blank. I'm the social media manager at this brand. We would love to send you a couple products to try out. Please let me know what goodies are catching your eye and your mailing address. So then I just went and sent them my address and the products I want, and they said, perfect, I'm drafting up an order for you right now. Your package should arrive in the next few days. And then they said, if you decide to feature us in any content, please let me know. I'd love to repost it. We had a few more back and forth. When it arrived, I posted it on my story. I sent them over. I ended up doing a blog post because I love the product so much. And then we've had a few DMs back and forth since. So that is a very easy way to reach out to brands or just get the contact information is through DM. DMs you always want to keep professional but short and sweet. So then as far as email pitch, I wanted to read you one of mine as well. I haven't been as active in reaching out to brands. I feel like with my work schedule and the brands that are reaching out to me, I don't really have as much time anymore. While I'm looking, even if brands say no to you in the beginning, do not get discouraged. There was a brand I reached out to probably September 2020, and then 6 months later, they had emailed me about a collaboration. So a lot of these times the brands will keep your information on file for their next round of campaigns. So do not be afraid to send an email. And then 6 months later, send it again. Do not be afraid to reach out more than once. Okay, so I found one. This was one of the very first email pitches I'd ever sent out. This one was to Bliss, the skincare line. This is one that I DM'd them and then they forwarded me the email address. So then I went and sent an email to the email they sent me, and in the subject I put Bliss plus Peyton Lee collab. I said, hi, my name is Peyton and I'm a beauty and fashion blogger based out of Los Angeles. I have a blog where I feature and review the best skincare and beauty products, and I post similar content on my Instagram. This is actually before TikTok was a thing. Like, this was a long time ago. So I also would have included more TikTok in there too. And I said, I received your email from the Bliss Instagram page about a potential collaboration. I'd love to review Bliss skincare on my platform by doing a review on my blog, Instagram, and possibly a dedicated YouTube video. I wanted to attach some content I've done in the past for other brands. Here's my latest skincare review, and here is a blog post I did for Body. Here are the direct links to my blog and my Instagram. And now I would of course attach my TikTok. I've also attached my Instagram statistics down below. If you are doing well, and please let me know if I can provide any additional information. So here's an example of what the for thing looks like. I don't know if it will show up on my camera, but basically it'll have, this was like from 3 years ago, but it'll have your most recent post on your Instagram, so it gives them an idea of your content. It shows your age, where you live, you mainly post about this, your followers, your engagement rate, your average likes, average comments, and then it has your age, audience, your female and male ratio, sponsored versus non-sponsored. It's just a great way for brands to get a quick overview of who you are and how your posting style looks. And actually, with this email, I ended up getting a response saying that they were just going to add me onto their PR list. And now for the past almost 3 years, I've been getting Bliss PR. With your pitch emails, you really want to keep it short and sweet, but very professional at the same time. And you really want to get your point across of why you would stand out compared to all the other emails they get, because these people get so many emails. You have to make it very accessible, make sure everything is linked. Do not just put my Instagram is at Peyton Lee. You want to make sure you add the link into it so that it makes it so much easier for them. And something else I would have added in there now is I would have added some campaign ideas, or I would have pitched them an idea of a type of content I'd want to create, such as like if you do a lot of unboxings, I would have reached out to a brand saying I'd love to do an unboxing video on my TikTok, and you can send them some examples of stuff you've done in the past. As you start to work on your content and start to learn your style of posting, it'll be easier. But I always now try to include a campaign idea. It just gives the brands more of an idea of how you post and what you would do for them. I know a lot of people ask how I get on all these PR lists, and I hardly ever ask. It's usually, and you also can pitch to be on people's PR lists, see if they have any openings. Usually, I will pitch them a collaboration idea and they will just respond by adding me to their PR list. Sometimes that's just how brands do it. It really has taken years and years of emails and DMs to be able to get the PR that I get now. So do not get discouraged. I promise you, the more you keep it up and the more you reach out to brands, the more they reach out to you, the more products you will get sent, the more paid brand deals you'll get. It really just takes time and it's not something that will happen overnight. So just be sure you keep that in mind. I know looking at a video like mine where I get all this PR and I have such a small following, it seems like just an overnight thing, but in reality, there are 3+ years of work attached to all of this. I also wanted to cover different kinds of collabs. I know there's a lot of talk on social media about not taking gifted collabs and everything should be a paid collab, which I definitely agree. Everybody needs to get paid for their time and there are a lot of brands that use influencers and take advantage of them. But at the same time, you have to have high quality content to provide for the brand, which in all honesty, it takes time to learn how to create content and how to shoot and how to produce very high quality content. I think of all the gifted collabs I've gotten in the past as basically free schooling. I've gotten so much experience in shooting pictures, videos, editing, email etiquette, working on my pitch, and building a lot of relationships with brands that now I feel confident in what I can create and provide for the brands. And I find it a lot easier to get paid brand deals because I've taken the time to really learn how I create content. And with all the gifted collabs, you are getting free product along with experience at the same time. So I personally do not think gifted collabs are all that bad. Sometimes it builds just a genuine relationship with a brand. It really is a brand by brand basis. Obviously, there are things you should be getting paid for and some things that it's okay to take gifted. You really just have to see what you are okay with and when you're getting taken advantage of. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes it is better just to build the relationship and get the experience and learn how to shoot content and how brand deals work before you are so gung-ho about just getting paid. So now let's get into paid collabs. So say you're wanting to take a gifted one into a paid collab. If you are the first one reaching out, you 100% still can ask for payment. Don't be afraid to ask. I usually send my same pitch I just said without mentioning payment and I see how they respond. And if they don't mention any kind of budget or anything in their response email, I'll usually respond back, do you have any budget for this campaign? You never want to send your rates first. Never, ever, ever do that. You're going to be missing out on so much money because usually what they will offer you is higher than what you would have asked for in the beginning. Last summer, I had gotten an email from a brand wanting to collab and they had asked for me to send over my rates. And in my head, I was like, oh, I only had about 800 followers on my TikTok at the time. So I was like, oh, I'll do it for $50. But instead of saying, oh, I charge $50 for TikToks, I asked them what their budget was and they came back with 100. So I ended up making double the money than I would have if I would have sent my rates first. And another example I just remembered is I had a brand had reached out to me for a collab and it was a collab that I really wanted to do. It was with a brand I've been dying to work with and I asked them if there was any budget for this campaign and they said, unfortunately right now we don't have a budget for this, but we can offer after the campaign to send you whatever products you want. So they originally sent me their whole little PR package for the new product launch and then after I completed the collab they asked me what I had been wanting to try and they ended up sending me hundreds of dollars of products. It was a brand I truly loved and wanted to use more and it was a very expensive brand at the same time, so I was content with that. The content, it was a very simple collaboration and to me that was worth getting all the extra product for. So it just never hurts to ask because you will get a bunch of different responses. Another way to get brand collabs when you are first starting out is to use different apps or websites that help connect you with the brands. My personal favorite is an app called Octoly. If you are at 1,000 followers, I would highly recommend downloading it. They have many different options for Instagram collabs, TikTok collabs, and they also have a thing called text reviews where brands will upload campaigns onto there in exchange for a review on Sephora or on their website. I have gotten the most insane products for text reviews on this app. I hardly ever do the Instagram or TikTok collaborations anymore unless it's something I'm really excited about, but I get so much stuff from the text reviews on there with brands and it gives me the opportunity to create content for new launches. Highly recommend checking out Octoly. And like I said, you do have to have 1,000 followers to get accepted, but once you do, they update the app every day with new products with brands such as First Aid Beauty, Amika. I've gotten free YSL perfume on there. Sunday Riley, all huge brands. So highly recommend checking that one out. Some of my other favorites are obviously and Aspire IQ. Those are the 3 I've had the most success with, so definitely check those out. Another way that you can make money is through content creation. Basically, that's just where you create content and you send it to the brands for them to use on their social media, and they just pay you an upfront cost to create the content for them. What's amazing about it is you don't actually have to post any content on your page. It's really just an easy way to get a paycheck, and in return you get paid and you get some products as well. The way you can pitch this is just to ask if they have any content creation opportunities available. I think it's also like user generated content. I think it's like UGC. You just can add that into your pitch if that's what you're wanting to do. If it's a brand you really love but you don't really want to post about it, you can ask if they have any content creation opportunities available, and usually they'll just send you what they're looking for and their budget, and they send you the products, you send it back, and they PayPal you, and that is the end of it. I would only do this though if you are getting paid. Normally brands have to pay for a studio, models, photographers, editors, makeup artists, hair stylists. So when creators are making content for them, they are saving so much money. So do not do this for brands unless they are paying you, because they pay so much money to get content shot in studios, so they can pay you for your time as well. I know I kind of talked about PR a little bit when I was covering my email pitch, but I wanted to touch on it one more time just because it is one of the most asked questions I get. And if you're not familiar, PR is basically just when a brand will send out a new launch to creators in hopes of them posting about it. Usually there's no strings attached to PR. You literally just get packages delivered to your doorstep. It is one of the coolest parts about being a content creator is you literally never know what's going to show up at your door that day. In all honesty, there's not really just a simple black and white answer of how to get PR. It really just happens naturally as you build those connections and the relationships with the brands. And like I said, sometimes they'll respond to my pitch with just, can we add you to our PR list? Please send over your address, that kind of stuff. That's usually how I've gotten on PR list. And I mentioned this earlier too, but you can definitely pitch to be added onto PR lists. I personally don't really love doing that, but everybody's so different. Feel free to do whatever works for you. I also wanted to cover red flags to look out for with brand collab. If a brand wants you to pay for the product, pay for shipping, or even pay a dime, it is not a brand collab. Do not take it. I get so many DMs from these spam accounts for brand collabs, but you have to pay. It is not a brand collab. That is a scam. Do not take those. I promise you, it is a scam. And if anybody ever messages you saying, please DM this account, they want to work with you, that is not a brand collab either. That is a scam as well. Okay, I know this video is going to be super long, but the last thing I wanted to cover is consistency. I feel like I've covered kind of all the basics and how to get started and get going, but my last tip is just to stay consistent. If you stay consistent, the growth will happen. I know it can get so overwhelming feeling like you have to post on all these different platforms, and everyone's saying you need to be posting 5 times a day on TikTok and every day on Instagram, but in reality, you just have to do what works for you and what you can stay consistent with. I would recommend starting out with 1 to 2 platforms to start posting on, and once you feel confident that you can remain consistent on those platforms, go ahead and add in the next one that you want to be posting on and just keep going with that. In the very beginning, I was mainly focusing on my blog and Pinterest. Then after that, I started my Instagram. Once I started taking that more seriously, I started my TikTok account, and then a little bit after that, I started my YouTube channel. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm not the most consistent person, but I promise you that is the key to growth, is just staying consistent. You can't get overwhelmed with all the different trends and this and that. You really just have to do what works for you. And to go along with that, my biggest tip on how to stay consistent is creating a posting schedule that works for you. I would not stress about listening to all the accounts that say you have to do this and do this and do this. I think it's more important to have quality content over quantity. So literally just do the best you can. Just post as much as you can without sacrificing the quality of your content. For me personally, a great schedule that I've been trying to work up to is 3 times a week on my Instagram feed, 1 TikTok a day, and then I post that TikTok onto the Reels tab on Instagram, 1 blog post a week, and 1 YouTube video a week. And as you can see, that always doesn't happen. So you just have to be easy on yourself and don't be too frustrated if you don't see your numbers going up as quickly as it seems like everyone else's are. It'll happen, I promise. You just have to put in the work and the time and it will happen. Okay, this video is so long and I feel like this is a good place to stop. But if there's anything else you want me to cover, please let me know. Let me know all of your questions in the comments. Please feel free to DM me over on Instagram and I would love to help. All of my social media accounts are linked down in the description. I could honestly talk about this stuff all day long, so please feel free to reach out to me on any of those, and I would love to answer any of your questions. And let me know what you want to see in part 2 of this and what else you want me to cover. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video. I hope this was helpful. Let me know anything else you want me to cover or anything else I can go more in depth about. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.